بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So the next line in the poem is وبعد خمسين وربع أسلم جن نصيبين وعادوا فأعلما. At the age of 50 and a quarter, meaning that the age of Rasulullah SAW, when he was 50 years old, and a quarter meaning 3 months, he accepted Islam, the jinns of Nasibin. So the Nasibin is a place between Turkey and Syria, and this is on. So you have to look at this poem is based on a chronology of events. Not every single event is mentioned, but the most significant and established events are mentioned. So the Prophet ﷺ's wife passes away, Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu anha, as it was in the previous session, and then his uncle Abu Talib 3 days later passes away. After that, Rasulullah SAW went one of the hardest days of his life, which is that he went to Ta'if to give da'wah to the tribe. It's a very well-known incident. And on the way back, the jinns of Nasibin, they accepted Islam. So Rasulullah SAW presented himself. This is a well-known story. You can read it in the books. And it was the most difficult day of the life of Rasulullah SAW, where he presented himself. He was chased out of town. He was stoned, and he was beaten, insulted, humiliated for miles and miles and miles. He was chased out from the town of Ta'if, just near Makkah Mukarramah, because he presented himself for Makkah, to people of Makkah for so many years, and they rejected him. So he felt that if he presents, maybe find a place, a headquarters, a place for Islam and the Muslims where they can be safe and practice and spread Islam and Deen, and they might be more welcoming towards Islam. So this happened. Rasulullah, after the death of Khadija, Abu Talib presented himself to still continuing his work, still continuing on his mission, and he gave da'wah to them. On the way back, after all the difficulty, when he was making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is, Allahumma ilayka ashku da'fa quwwati wa qillata hilati. The Prophet ﷺ was making a complaint before Allah about himself. After they humiliated, he gave da'wah in the most beautiful and perfect way. We can't imagine how perfect, with the one who's got the most perfect character, akhlaq, and the complete wisdom that Allah had given him, and all the akhlaq and beauty and everything that is there. After that, they mistreated him and stoned him and chased him out of town. And at the end of it, he comes into a garden and he makes a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, complain to you the weakness of myself. So he didn't complain against the people, he complained to Allah about himself. And as he was leaving there, and this is a famous incident, that as he was leaving that garden, and the ayat were revealed to Rasulullah. He was informed that the jinns from Nasibin, that they had come, and the Rasulullah SAW gave them da'wah. A whole nation came to him. So his da'wah was not just that. Generations afterwards, within a generation or within several years, a decade, the people of Ta'if, 20 years or so, they were all Muslim themselves. But that da'wah that the Prophet ﷺ gave became the means of hidayat of a whole, not just a nation, but also another creation of Allah. Because the Prophet ﷺ is the Prophet of insan and jinn, of mankind and jinn kind. So he's the Prophet of both. So the Prophet ﷺ, he gave them da'wah, they accepted it, and then they went back as da'is, as inviters, as warners, as mentioned in the Quran. They became warners for their nation. They went back to invite their people, the jinn, to Islam. So these are this incident occurs after the incident of Taif, where Rasulullah SAW 50 and 3 months of age. So it's about 10 years or so into the da'wah since his prophethood. The next two lines are put together. This is now about the marriages to Rasulullah SAW had to Sayyidina Sauda radiallahu anha, and also Sayyidina Khadija, Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha. ثم على سودة أمضى عقده في رمضان ثم كان بعده عقد ابنة الصديق في الشوال وبعد 50 وعام تالي. Then with Sauda radiallahu, he contracted his marriage in Ramadan. Also after it was the agreement with the daughter of Siddiq in Shawwal. So after the age of 51 and the following year. So the next line connects to what we'll do in the next session tomorrow, inshallah, in which is about the Mi'raj, the ascension of Rasulullah SAW. So firstly, Rasulullah SAW, while he was married with Khadija radiallahu anha, he was not married to anybody else. After Khadija radiallahu anha passed away in the incidents that I mentioned, then he married Sauda. Now, Sauda radiallahu anha, so Sauda, she was a daughter of a Sahabi, Zam'at ibn Qais al-Qurayshi radiallahu anhu. So, sorry, Zam'ata bintu Zam'ata ibn Qais al-Qurayshiyya radiallahu anhu. So she wasn't born daughter of not a daughter of Sahabi, but a wife of Sahabi, Sakran ibn Amr radiallahu anhu. So Sakran ibn Amr was a Sahabi. She did hijrah with him to Habasha, and he passed away in Mecca as a Muslim, as Sahabi. She became a widow, and after obviously her iddah and so forth, the Rasulullah SAW proposed to her, and he married her, and she became the wife of the Prophet SAW, mother of the believers. Then the next marriage I mentioned is the marriage to the daughter of Siddiq, meaning Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha. And the Rasulullah SAW married her, and this was in the month of Shawwal. So obviously the month that follows Ramadan. So 1 month he married Sauda, next month he married the daughter of Siddiq. Rasulullah SAW had many wives. After Khadija had many wives. And there is wisdom, and for the Prophet ﷺ, Allah permitted more than 4. For the average believer, for the normal Muslim male, the maximum, the limit is 4, as in the order of the Quran. For Rasulullah ﷺ, one of the specialties of Rasulullah ﷺ, specific things related to Rasulullah ﷺ, he was allowed to marry more than 4. And nearly all his wives that Rasulullah ﷺ married were widows, except for the daughter of Siddiq. She was the only virgin that he married. Then they take the nights, the husband stays at a different wife's house. And because he was, so she gave up her right of her night, so she can continue to be in the nikah, so not to get divorced by Rasulullah SAW, because she wanted to be with Rasulullah SAW in Jannah and remain the wife of Rasulullah SAW. And he accepted that. So, and she gave up her night to Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha. Also, Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha was considered the most beloved wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she was young when he married. She was a virgin also, the only virgin that he married, as I mentioned before. And it's mentioned that in the riwayat that wahi, revelation, used to descend while Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was together with her. Meaning in the sense of when they were together in the house, and also when they were together under the same sheet, then the revelation used to descend on the Prophet ﷺ, because he lived in the house. Sometimes revelation was come when he's walking, sometimes sitting, sometimes lying down, he's resting, and sometimes riding on a camel. And she had the privilege of Rasulullah ﷺ in her house. The revelation used to descend on the Prophet ﷺ. And also in regards to her, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayat of Bara'ah, when the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, and the Yahud of Medina, they started the rumors, false rumors, against the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, na'uzu billah, that she's done something wrong. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his book absolved her and sent ayat in her regards. She's also considered that the most knowledgeable of women, and not just the most knowledgeable wife of Rasulullah SAW, and the most knowledgeable woman of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, also the most knowledgeable woman of this ummah. She's considered the most knowledgeable, because there's many other companions who were more knowledgeable than her. But she's like, there's a saying that 1/3 of deen came through Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha. So as an ummah, we owe a great debt, because our deen and our learning of deen came through her. Because she was so close to us, because she was younger and she was very intelligent, and she acquired and understood the deen at a very deep level, and also intimate level, because she was so close to Rasulullah SAW. She didn't have the barriers and the formalities other people had, and this was noticed. So she used to ask questions, very inquisitive. So she was the mufti, one of the muftis of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. And the Prophet ﷺ also passed away in her house. It said that between her neck and between her lap, that Rasulullah head was there, and in her house, and he buried in her house. When we go to Rawdah to give salam, that the Prophet ﷺ is buried in the house of Sayyidina Aisha. He's buried in the exact spot where he passed away, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet ﷺ also, it's her saliva that she softened the miswak for the Prophet ﷺ before he passed away, and to brush his teeth. He asked for the miswak. So he passed away in her house, on her lap, with her miswak from her mouth that she softened for Rasulullah SAW. So in many things that she was honored above, definitely one of the greatest women of this ummah, and definitely from the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, one of the greatest women of the Sahaba and the ulama and the alimat Sahaba, and the mother of the believers, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tomorrow, in the next session, inshallah, will be about the Mi'raj. After these two marriages, the Prophet ﷺ was after all these hardships of Ta'if and the wife dying and Abu Talib dying and so forth. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls him to himself, inshallah. The last line, وَبَعْدَ خَمْسِينَ وَعَامٍ تَالِي, after the age of 51 and the following year, it continues into the next line, which is talking about the Mi'raj, the ascension, the night journey, which is to Jerusalem, to Masjid al-Aqsa, and then to the heavens, the Mi'raj. May Allah give us understanding and tawfiq. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.